Guys, and welcome to today's story time. Here's another one. I'm wearing the same thing because I'm just kind of in the mood. I didn't feel like changing, but it's a new drink. Hey, they had a little happy hour. Alright guys, so if you already follow my vlog channel, it's Chinyere's Lit Life. I already did a story time on this. It's called I Quit My Job, like fuck this job, I quit. That's the title of the vlog. So if you guys have already seen that video, you don't even have to watch this one because it's like literally the same mannerisms and detail of the story, but I'm just telling it on my main channel since this deserves a story time. So if you just like watching me, then go ahead and keep on watching. But yeah, I just thought I would tell y'all, even though the title is pretty obvious, like why I quit my stupid ass job, low paying job, I will go more into detail. Okay, once again, I gotta cut off the top of my head because, you know, my hair is looking a little bit wild. Alright guys, so gosh, I moved into this apartment in December, and then in January I decided to get a job. I really wanted to start a savings. YouTube, it covers in hair, that covers like the bills, but I really wanted the savings because my $1,000 that I was spending a month on my car, that was really eating up a lot of my income, and I wasn't able to just do fun shit. Like my girlfriends would come over, they would constantly be asking, girl, let's go out, you just moved downtown, girl, and I'd be like, no, I don't think so. I'm busy. That would be me, you know. And so I ended up picking up this extra job just because I wanted to have fun and have a savings, like I said. So I was just walking down the street one day, and I was gonna say one time, but then I said day, and I was shopping over at Urban Outfitters, and then I was like, you know what? Like I literally had walked like a mile away from my house, and it's like a downtown Urban Outfitters or whatever. And then when I was walking back, I saw this place, and it looked really cool. I walked in, and they even had a hiring sign in the window, and I was like, I'm never gonna get a job here, like a place like this. Guys, it was a frozen yogurt shop. I saw this guy smoking outside. So when I went in, I noticed it was empty, and then I was like, and he came in, I was like, oh, oof, oh God, I already know what kind of place this is. So anyway, he gave me an application, and I applied right there, and he gave me an interview right there. It was very empty, very dead. That should have been the first sign. But yeah, he said that he was quitting. He was a manager, but that he wanted more money. And later, come to find out, he was only making like $11 per hour there, which is not good for a manager position. And just other things. So yeah, he said that he was quitting, he was getting a better job, and that, you know, he was just looking for somebody else to fill the position. So I immediately did not want to be at this job, okay? I just picked, this was literally the first job I applied at landing in Austin. This is literally, I had been in my apartment for like a week. I would just be doing videos and then just hanging out at home, and I would be really bored. So I was like, okay, let me just go get it, you know, that was it. And so this night I was just shopping and walking around, and that happened. So when I left, I was really excited, but then it just dawned on me, and I was like, I don't think I want to work there. I think I'm going to actually hate it there. So the next morning, I'm thinking to myself, like, please don't call me, please don't call me. And she called me. The owner called me to do an interview. So I was like, okay. So she said it would happen the next day at 3 o'clock. And I had all the time, I was looking for another job. In the meantime, I was like looking but not applying and stuff like that. Yeah, I ended up going to the interview, and of course, lo and behold, I got the goddamn job. To anybody else, that would be great, but not to me. I was like, But anyway, I had already started it, and I was really trying to finish things that I started, so I went on the interview, I got it. And the funny thing is that, like, he told me I was dressed well for the interview the night that I went in, but yeah, I wasn't even dressed good. I was wearing like I would just look sloppy as hell. So if I was dressed nice, I can only imagine the type of people that were applying there, you know what I mean? The next day, I head over to the interview. I'm already having issues because I have to park in the garage, and I have to, you know, anyway, she didn't even explain things well. She knew I was driving, but she didn't even tell me, hey, you have to tell the valet that you're here, blah, blah, hit the buzzer, tell him, you know, she didn't even do all that, so that was frustrating enough. Anyway, I get there, and then we start the training process. Now, y'all, it was a lot of bitch work. I mean, first of all, the pay was like $8.25, I think, an hour. And then she told me that with tips, it would be you would be making about $10 an hour. Yeah, I don't move near, whatever. Lots of dogs. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, I can do that. So yeah, I got started and I was unhappy the very first night. Everything was so overwhelming. Like, I thought, okay, this is the frozen yogurt shop. This is real easy, y'all. This, first of all, people who are rich are cheap as fuck, okay? Rich people are cheap as fuck. The owner, obviously, her husband is very well off. He owns the restaurant. He co-owns the restaurant next door. And they own a couple other restaurants over, you know, all over Austin. So I'm like, and they live in the Westlake. Like, that's like the high, you know what I'm saying? So these motherfuckers ain't doing bad, okay? They got a daughter that was working on the Ellen show. They got, I mean, I'm not even gonna talk about all that, but let's just say they're doing very well. And on top of that, like, the rent at the frozen yogurt shop was like $6 grand a month. So she's definitely selling a lot of frozen yogurt. And yeah, the place was like under these $1 million condominiums. So it was a weird place because the parking sucked, which I'm surprised she got so much traffic, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, first day of training, we were not busy, we were good. You know, there was a lot of dishwashing. And the place was nasty. The place was just disgusting. I was like, oh, I would never eat here, like, honestly, because this place is kind of nasty. She never really, like, the place needs a good scrubbing. She needs new cabinets. She needs new flooring. She needs new everything. The place is actually disgusting. She even, like, we had a health inspection and they said that she needs new blenders. Like, the blenders were old as fuck. Like, they looked nasty. It looks like you couldn't scrub the blades enough to get it cleaned, okay? She had these old school ass Vitamix ones. And they gave her a year to get new ones. And I'm like, nah, nigga. She needs it, like, last year, okay? Like, last year. I'm not even playing. It was just disgusting. Like, so I was like, ooh, this place needs, like, you know, and that was just like, okay, you know, let me not even get into that. Okay, first of all, here are the job duties, okay? I work the evening shift. And pretty much I would just, you know, ring up customers. I would refill the juice into the frozen yogurt machines. I would restock everything. I would make smoothies and then all the acai bowls. And then I would make the drinks, like the shakes and the coffee and the lattes and whatever. And another weird thing is that there wasn't really like a real menu for the coffee. Like, you just made the lattes however you made them. You know, of course it was 2 shots of espresso and then we would add like milk and flavoring and things, but like there was never like an actual menu. So you just eyeballed it and hoped that they liked it. And then sometimes we would just add a bunch of coffee and just call it a day. Like cold coffee for the iced ones. But yeah, anyway, so we had to make the food, then we had to clean up. At the night shift we had to sweep the entire I don't even know what to call this place. Restaurant? Who knows? Food place. And then we had to mop it. And then we had to clean the bathrooms. Okay, that's interesting. My sister just sent me a text message. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, we had to clean the bathrooms, which I should have walked out right then. I don't want to clean nobody's bathrooms. Sorry. I mean, I hate even saying that because I hate even cleaning my own goddamn bathroom. That's mine. Okay? That shit took so long to sweep and mop the entire place. Took about an hour, and that was working up a sweat. Then you got like $10 worth of food. I would always eat. I don't ever want to live in a place where they allow dogs, honestly. I don't want to see, if I actually go to a place and I apply and I see a bunch of dogs, I'm gonna walk away because I don't like it. Anyway, then we had to wipe down all the counters and we had to restock the fridge. We had to make a new carrot juice ice cubes for the smoothies. Oh my gosh, I mean, we had to make new frozen yogurt balls because we had like smoothies and they all involve frozen yogurt. So we would have to take a big plastic bowl, fill it up with frozen yogurt, freeze it, then the next day we would go and we have to scoop it out onto a cookie sheet. And then we would take those frozen yogurt balls and we would make like frozen yogurt sandwiches with the cookies, and then we would make like frozen yogurt smoothies, and then shakes. Those actually weren't bad, but the blenders were just nasty. And I was just like, ugh. I would always like let them sit in really hot water whenever I would wash the dishes. I wouldn't just like wash them. I would let them soak, but I would soak them in extremely hot water because I knew I was going to be eating out of those too sometimes. But yeah. So obviously nobody had died, so I was like, okay, it can't be that bad. Okay, so those were our job duties. I mean, that's like a typical job, but there was just so much for what you were getting paid. It was just kind of annoying. Let's talk about the customers, okay? This was obviously in an upscale, snooty ass, privileged neighborhood, which is even more embarrassing. They don't even know why they're privileged. And it was just like, they just had their noses up in the air. And mind you, we were on top of $1 million condominiums. So there will always be these mature, older white men who were constantly hitting me on me who were married. That was annoying. And they were very, very flirtatious. And then they would come in the next day with their wives and they would be seriously flirting with me, talking about, I can't wait to see you again. I'm like, shut the fuck up and tip me. And they were cheap as fuck, okay? Like, they would literally like tip like a quarter, and then people who didn't have that much money, they would tip more, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was that. Then you would have these rich kid assholes who would come in and they would always brag about, yeah, I live upstairs. Yeah, oh yeah, I live upstairs. Like, that's supposed to do something for me. Bitch, you living upstairs does not pay my bills. She's paying the bills, okay? I don't give a damn if you live upstairs, you know. And then they would want a discount because they lived upstairs. No, bitch, you paid that $6 million so that you can come down here and get cheap ass frozen yogurt, okay? Anyway, I mean, everybody was decently nice, but they were very snooty. Like, they didn't really want any conversation, which was cool. A part of the job was to be very friendly, so I did that, but they would just be overtly like annoying or whatever and just like dumb with everything and over everything. And then it was cool because we would always have events, and like I remember Dave Chappelle, he was a couple doors down and he had a show and it brought in a lot of cool people. Y'all thought I was gonna say that he came in to try some of that frozen yogurt. Hey, no, y'all. No, he didn't. This is pretty much the downfall of the job, okay? I worked at this job from January to early April. Like, literally, I put in my 2 weeks before or after my birthday. I don't even remember, but it was after my birthday. Yeah, so I was only there for like 3.5 months, which I feel like is a record because I hated it there. Literally, I stopped liking the job probably like a month into it. Now, I liked the fact that I was just getting out of the house and I was meeting new people, and I loved the fact that it was a mile away. I could get my 2 miles in per day walking, but I was just mainly driving. It turned into me driving every day because I just didn't want to be there, so I didn't want to make the effort to walk. Okay, so first of all, the job sucks, obviously. I stopped wanting to mop every single night. I stopped wanting to sweep up the whole place every night. I was sick of the ungrateful ass children. I hated that this place was self-serve. I feel like self-serve anything is like the worst idea in the history of time for a business. Yes, I said it. Luby's has the right idea. They make you feel like it's all you can eat, but you know it's not because they are serving you your portions. I love that. I hate all you can eat restaurants, even though I love the food. I hate them because I see kids pick shit up, lick it, and then put it back. And at this job, you see bullshit like that. And then the parents are just like, oh my gosh, Jimmy, don't do that. Okay, I guess this is free for little Jimmy, am I right? And it's like, yeah, bitch, take it. Shit, take the damn M&M. Okay? You guys know how frozen yogurt is for the most part. You have to pick what size you want. You fill up the bowl. You put your little toppings, and then you weigh it, and then you pay. It's very simple, right? People did not grasp this concept, which is cool. That's fine. That's fine. But you literally had to walk with them. I didn't like how the manager didn't put actual arrows pointing to it. Every single person that walked into the yogurt shop. See, the thing is that 99% of the customers that walked into this job, they knew it was a frozen yogurt place. They literally would search Google for the local frozen yogurt place, and this place would come up. So it was very obvious because this place has huge windows that the spouts are over there, but they would literally come up to our counter wondering, where's the frozen yogurt? You know damn well that the frozen yogurt is not behind the counter because it's frozen and it's yogurt, so it has to come out of something. We're not going to scoop up. It doesn't work like that. And I'm only saying that because these people, like me personally, I don't give a fuck about frozen yogurt. It's overpriced bullshit, right? But if I were the type of person that was looking for frozen yogurt, I would know, okay, it's got to be, you know, over here or something. It's not at the front desk. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's like going to an all-you-can-eat restaurant. You literally Googled all-you-can-eat, but you're sitting down waiting for them to come serve you and bring you your plates. I mean, that's the picture that I'm painting for you guys. Like, the people just were not that bright. And that annoyed the fuck out of me. And you know what, guys? I really shouldn't even be in customer service because I don't like people that much. So this was stupid on my part. Everything you do would pretty much get on my nerves. But I still covered up and acted like I liked it there, even though I didn't. Anyway, so that was one issue. Then there were, of course, the homeless people. The homeless people were there was just so many of them. And listen, guys, this is my fault, okay? I moved downtown. I got a job downtown. This is where the homeless people are. You see hundreds of them at the homeless shelter a couple miles away, but they make their way around the neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with homeless people, okay? You are doing what you gotta do, just like everybody else. But the problem is that they come in and they bother you. And people's excuses are, well, you don't know what they've been through. Bitch, you don't know what I've been through, but I can guarantee you I'm not pestering motherfuckers up and down the street, okay? Whatever you've been through is no excuse. So, with that being said, we had 3 different homeless people that would come into our restaurant on a daily fucking basis. And they would bother people. They would bother us. They would scare the children. They would scare me. They would make me hate the goddamn job and remember why I hate it here, okay? So, I work the night shift. I will typically come in from 3 to 4:30, 3 or 4:30, and then I would close, and I would literally leave around like 11 to midnight. Closing took about 2 hours for a tiny the place was probably about like 1,500 square feet, maybe. No. Probably about 1,100 square feet, and it would take me 2 hours to close that bitch because of all the closing duties, okay? So not only was the pay not great, I was making maybe like $450 to $600 per check, but that was because me and this other girl, like, we were really bringing in the tips. Like, if you guys watch my vlogs, I would always wear these skimpy ass tops because that would make people tip, honestly. And sometimes they would give me a 20 personally, and I would take it. I would not put it in a tip jar. Why? Because they would have people who weren't even working that many hours, and I was working a lot. Almost like a lot, for especially in the beginning, and I would have to split my tips with people who worked a few hours a day, plus the owner, I think. So I was like, okay, because the owner, she would work shifts too, back and forth to different restaurants, which is cool. She got her hands dirty. I like that. But yeah, I shouldn't have to share my tips evenly with people who just aren't really pulling their weight. And there would be new people who she would hire, and they would be getting paid more than older people who had no experience, and we would have to split the tips with their trained asses, and that fucking pissed me off. I wouldn't even expect the same for myself. If I'm first coming into a job, I don't expect to get paid as much as somebody who's already been there, and I don't even expect to get tips like that, okay? She giving them tips on the first paycheck. So not only are you hiring more people who are untrained, but now we have to split the money even more when I'm really getting paid. I literally cannot even, this isn't even worth coming up here anymore, okay? So yeah, the pay was bad, the job was too much work, it sucked. I hated cleaning, I hated the constant wiping. Oh my gosh, guys, I forgot to even mention, the reason why I hate self-service is because you gotta come after those motherfuckers. Every single time, especially like a group of 2 or more will come through, if everybody sees that it's dirty, they just start getting real nasty. You have to constantly cut up all the pieces and put it in the toppings bar, and then people would start, it would just be so fucking messy. And then to make sure to keep up, I would have to constantly keep having a hot towel and wipe down the counters because it's white, they can see everything, and have to keep constantly sweeping up the counters, wiping down the counters, sweeping up the counters, wiping up the counters like every 10 minutes, especially if we were busy. One person like messed up and people would see a couple droppings, they're like, oh shit, this is a nasty place, let's all drop. And the testers, I hated that we had to give each person a tester, but it was necessary. If you wanted a tester, we couldn't just hand you the cup. Why? Because people are fucking irresponsible. That's why. One person, like, we'll tell them, I always tell people, hey, like, when you're done, can you please put in the trash can right there? Then I would move the trash can right by the spouts so that people wouldn't put them in the drip drain, right? Y'all, these nasty ass motherfuckers, they would test it out and put it in the drip container. So now we gotta pick that shit out, and then we gotta throw it and, and rinse it out. Don't nobody want to do that, you idiots. So that's why we have to literally tell them why we do it, and then they will get upset. Because listen, guys, one time we were so busy that I literally did not have time to go to each person and give them a tester, right? So when it gets really busy, there's only one person on shift, and sometimes, like, we would tell, she would have somebody else with us, but it was very rare, and then she would tell us we could call them when we got really busy. But a lot of times it would only be busy for like 20 minutes. And then boom, it's not even worth coming down, you know what I mean? So one day we were like, there were a couple times we were really busy, right? Leave it up to the customers to be nasty as hell. They would literally like test it out and throw it on the floor. trash can a few steps away. So that's why you have to give them testers. And then you would look on the review site and they would be like, oh, we're mad because, you know, they have to give us our duh, because you're a 32-year-old irresponsible bitch. That's why. Okay, so the customers also got on my nerves. I mean, my God, like the common sense levels were low, but they expected the highest of highest. Okay, last thing were the homeless. Once again, going back to them, this was a specific incident. Okay, so no, actually there were multiple incidents. Okay, now like I said, guys, we had 3 different homeless people that will come into the job. Okay, there was a white guy who just had given up on life. He was an asshole and I did not like him. There was a black guy. He was okay. Okay, he was the better out of the 3, but he was just annoying as fuck and he was constantly in there. Then there was a 3rd black guy. He made me throw up a little bit in my mouth because he always had white crap around his mouth. He smelled like shit and pee, and he would always make me give him a tester, and he would get real close to you even though he stunk. Okay, and I hated him. And there was a homeless shelter. Anyway, whatever. So let's talk about the white guy first. He would come in smelling like all of hell, and he would order a bunch of things. I never would make it because I knew his ass didn't have the money, but he would stand around smelling like piss, shit, and ass, and then he would make the customers want to die, and they would just be like, I give up. It was almost like being held up by stench. And then he would stand by the register waiting for me to give him the free stuff. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get fired because I don't fucking know you and you want free shit. Okay, no bitch, no. You know what, guys, I'm not even one of those people that takes my job super seriously, but I'm not about to be stealing like that. I'll steal for my damn self, you know. I'm thinking, he would literally hang out with his funky pee, dick smelling self at the register, and he would literally hold people up at smell point. Like, he would literally just wait, and it was honestly like a robbery. Like, people would just be throwing out the cash. Like, here, just take it, just leave my children alone, you stink. It was, guys, he was literally holding people up at stink point. One day I almost caught myself being hypnotized and reaching into my pocket so that I could pay for him to get the fuck away from me. Okay, that's how stinky this guy was. So one day I was so happy the owner of the restaurant was there. I told her, I said, girl, I said, he does not pay for his stuff. Okay, he waits around for people to pay for it. So I let her ring him up, and then he was like, okay, I want a coffee and I want 3 cookies. And so she said, okay, great, that'll be blah blah. He says, I don't have any money. And then she says, well, I'm sorry, sir, but we're really low on supply. We are getting ready for South by, so I can't give you any free coffee. Y'all, we have like 6 bags right there. But and he said, okay, and he walked away with his old pissy ass. Now, before this, there have been many customers who have paid for his stuff, and he's been extremely selfish. Like, he'll pay for his stuff, they'll pay for his stuff, he will not say thank you, and then he'll walk outside and leave all his trash around for us to go pick up. That's how ungrateful this motherfucker is. He thinks that because he's homeless and begging on the street that we owe him. That's my neighbor's stupid ass loud dog. He feels like we owe him something. Nigga, we don't owe you nothing. You are homeless. We are working, and you are taking hard-earned money from people. Whether it wasn't that hard-earned or it was earned, and it was money that you're taking, okay? Next was a smelly of all smelly people. The 3rd guy I was telling you guys about. Now, this guy is fairly young. Even thinking about him makes me just want to throw up, so I'm going to hurry up and get through this one. Okay, he was 6'2". He blah, blah, blah. Okay, no, I'm just playing. Anyway, he was like 6'2" maybe. Sorry, I'm really trying to make it through this. Whenever I think about him, I think about the white shit around his mouth, and I think about how he smelled the worst, and how he would literally drag his feet, and how I would literally go like this when I was walking over him because I wanted him to know that I knew that he smelled. And I would tell him, like, okay, let me give you an example. He would always come in and ask for vanilla frozen yogurt. Ugh, I hate that I even remember that. I don't even order that no more. And so I would say, okay. And if he would ask me for a tester, I would say, okay, but you have to step back because you smell bad. And I would just tell him that because, and if he stuck around, I would tell him, okay, when you move back, I'll get your tester because you stink, okay? The first time he ever moved in close, I smelled him before he even got close. Before I even heard him, okay? And he's so nasty that you can actually hear him when he moves. See me? You can't hear nothing. Him, it was like, it was like, you smell every goddamn thing. He was just nasty. He would use the bathroom sometimes and he would just scoot on out. Okay, I would hide in the back and I would just hope they would like go away. And then, you know, sometimes the customers would just walk out with the food because they were just, sometimes I just didn't want to deal with the homeless people, okay? Now, the third guy, and this is the last homeless one that I had to battle, okay? There were 3 rounds and I beat them all, okay? This one was like the master of all hobos. He was the one that you had to get through each level to beat, and once you finally got to him, you were like the master food culturist is what we were called. Okay, so this was the day that I had to go in, I had to face him. Every time he came in, I did not like this man, but I obviously dealt with him because of my job. So he comes in and he always felt like we owed him something. Once again, you know, they got the mentality, and he's like, what's up, baby girl? What's up, big mama? Let me get a let me get a cup of ice. And I'm like, nigga, it took you that long to say that? Okay, I will give him the smallest little bitty cup of water so that he could take his pills, because I wasn't giving you no ice. The ice takes too long and it spills all over the floor. The cup is too small. All the ice would just run over. I don't have time for this, okay? I would give him a cup of water and he would take his pee pills because he had an issue with his whatever, okay? I had no issue helping him, but the problem was his mannerisms, okay? He would leave the trash on the table for me to go pick up because I owe him for him being homeless. And then he would always say, damn, ooh, you look good. Why do old people chew on nothing? He had no teeth. He was always like, that's how it sounded, like those mukbang, like sucking noises. Old people are always sucking on nothing. It's like, that's what they do. And so this guy, I was like, you are not even sucking on anything, but you okay, whatever. Then he would come in every time we were closing. A couple of nights I would just say no, goodbye. But this particular night is the night that I quit, okay? So, it was closing. This is one of the very first nights I was actually going to be closing on time. Y'all, I was known around there to close 2 hours late. Some people did it in 45, 30 minutes. Yeah, I was late, and I would try to really do the work right. So I would actually wash things down. I would cut up like 3 days worth of vegetables, put them in the freezer or the refrigerator. I would cut up all the toppings that we needed. I mean, I would make all the frozen yogurt balls and, you know, get all the things ready, and then somebody else would scoop them. Like, I really was working, okay? This night, I was actually, like, you know, gonna do it right. So I had this group of 4 girls that came in last minute. Now, the reason why I would let people come in very, very, very last minute is because I would immediately tell them, y'all gotta tip me. I'm leaving it open late, y'all gotta tip me. And they were very nice and they would do it, okay? One time somebody tipped me 20 bucks. One night I made like $40. People just gave me because I stayed open late. So I always would do that. And customers remember that from your restaurant, that somebody, like an employee, made a good effort to do that. Because I know I do. And so that just keeps me to coming back. So I would typically stay open about 30 minutes past it, but I would still be cleaning up during that time. So these were one of the girls who came in at like 9:55. We closed at 10. No, they came in at 9:50. They got all their things and they were literally cashing out, but they were looking for like a place to go after this, and they were just waiting for a cab. I told them that's totally fine. So when they had finished checking out, I started doing my cleanup, and here his ass comes tapping in the window. This is how he looks, y'all. That's how he looked. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? And I would just go and I would turn off the lights and I'm like, can he see us? And it's obvious he can see us. He like, And I had locked the doors. At 9:58, I locked the doors. I don't feel like dealing with them. He comes tapping on the door and he puts his hands up like this. Because sometimes he would come in and he would just need change. Like he would need $1 for his quarters or whatever. So I see that and I'm like, okay, give me just a second. I go up to the door and I'm like, hey, you cannot come in here. I'm like, I'm about to close the register. He's like, it's okay, baby. I just need some change. That's what he said through the door. I could hear him. So the girls, it's like these 4 little white girls. They're like, oh, you know, we kind of like, and I'm like, y'all, he's like 6'2", 6'3", skinny man, homeless guy. He doesn't even look the most scary. Like he actually looks like he may shower like once a week compared to the other ones. And I was like, y'all, he's fine. He just comes in here for change and to pee. Don't be scared, okay? So they're like, huh, okay, we can do this, okay. And so here he comes. He's like, I'm like, you're already making them noises, so you know it's about to be a bad night, okay? The girls get their cab and they leave. They're like this, trying to scoot around him. And I'm like, okay, where's your change? He says, he opens the door and he's like, baby, let me just use the bathroom. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh. I said, hurry up. I want to leave. Hurry up. This is exactly how I talk to people. This is why I don't need to be around people, okay? Because I don't know how to talk to people. So I'm like, hurry up, please, hurry. I said, I gotta go. This is the slowest he has ever walked, ever, y'all. Usually he'll walk, you know, he's like, got my groove back, yeah, That's how he's walking through the place. And I'm like, okay, nigga, get your groove, but you gotta move. Go, hurry up, move. And he's like, okay, baby, ain't gotta rush me, That's how he's walking. He gets in the bathroom, and the thing about it is that, here's the thing. I can't close out the register and start counting the money until everybody is out of the store. So I had to wait to start doing the thing where it does the money count or whatever, and I couldn't even start counting the tips. This man, first of all, he only had like a quarter and like a dime and some pennies. So there was no change to be made. He lied to come in to go pee, okay? So I'm like, fuck. So I have to start closing. I grab all the dishes in the front and I run to the back because I'm waiting for him to come out the bathroom. I put him on the water. I run back to the front. I'm like, is he still out here? I'm like, fuck. Yeah, I'm sweating already. I run back to the back and I just start washing all the dishes. And I see, okay, he's not there anymore. You know, I'm drying them. I'm starting to sweep in the back. I run back to the front to look. He's still not out. And like all this time, I've already started punching in the numbers in the computer. It could have started counting. I could have did my count and then got everything out the way. Then I had to run to the front and I still don't see him because I have to empty out all the, the drip pans. And then I had to take off I just had a lot of things to do. It's so much in closing. It's crazy. And then I had to wipe down everything, I run to the back, he's still not out, and I'm like, it's been about 8 minutes, and I'm like, hello, are you done? Are you done? I'm trying to leave here. And so he's like, just a minute, baby. I'm like, he's still making that noise. Just a minute. My mom is so funny because she was always so worried about me. She was like, baby, I don't want you near those homeless people. I want to make sure you get home okay. And I'm like, Mom, they're fine. It's fine. Please stop worrying about me. So yeah, y'all, after about 15 minutes, he finally comes out of the bathroom, right? And I'm like, okay, good night. I'm telling him, hurry up. And he's like, back in my day, we can get candy for a nickel. And I'm like, good, all right, that's fair, all right. And I open the door and I'm ready for him to go. I'm standing by the door literally like this. Here's the door, like, and the guy, he stops and I'm like, hello, come on, get out of here. At this point, because I had already heard the toilet flush, I had already started the money count, so the machine was gonna pop open at any moment. He throws up all in his hands. He just, and I'm like, y'all, I lost it. I literally had to go like this. Like I was shaking. I was so mad. This is the night. First of all, you weren't supposed to be in here because we were closed and I was being nice, okay? Second of all, I was finally gonna be on time to go watch a movie with my friends. Then you were slow and you lied and you said that you wanted change and you used my kindness as a weakness and you fucked up, okay? Nobody else does this. Everybody locks him out. People don't let him in restaurants, whatever. Y'all, I lost it. I said, what's wrong with you? I said, I just mopped the floor. I literally had mopped the floor while he was in there. I ran it across the floor because it was mopping, okay? I was sweating when I was doing it. He was just like, that's him. And then he still is, and I said, throw it in the trash. Put it in the trash. And he's not. So literally, I started screaming at him, get the fuck out. Get out. Don't come back here. I'm not fucking playing with you. You're disgusting. I just started yelling at him. I was so mad and heated. Y'all, he left out and I had to wash my feet because he literally walked out with the throw up in his hands. He was like, I must have ate something wrong. I must have ate something wrong. And I just couldn't believe it. I was disgusted. I was so mad. I had never seen it like that. I locked the door. I was so mad, and I ran. I can understand people throwing up, but the issue is that the one night, anyway, whatever. So he leaves with a throw up. He's still walking down the street, throw up in his hand, y'all. I run to the back. I grab the mop and I start mopping up the front of the restaurant again. And I text my manager and I said, hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. She said, okay, is everything okay? And I said, a homeless man just came in here and threw up. And I was like, and I'm done. I'm done with this place. And I put in my 2 weeks because I didn't want to burn bridges and I did not have a backup plan. So the next day, I had to go back into work and he didn't show up, right? And I'm thinking, you know, this man probably has some type of class about him. He's not going to come here again for a while. Y'all, this man ain't shit, okay? First of all, someone just wrote me something on Twitter and it was so sweet. What's his Twitter? Tailored247. Love him. Okay, y'all, he walks in. The second day of this happening, because I didn't work, I worked the next day, but I didn't work the day afterwards. And somebody told me he came in there and the customer had bought him some PF Chang's. So every time I was on shift, if I saw him coming up to our door, y'all, I would lock the door and I would tell him we were on break. He would not come. He didn't come in the restaurant for weeks at a time. And then I would tell him, he would say, can I come? I said, no. This man had no class. Finally, one day he came in while I was in the back washing dishes. I came back out and I saw him. He said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You know, I would never disrespect you like that. I would. And I said, but you did. That was nasty, okay? And I was not over it. I was very upset. I don't want to have to clean up nobody's throw up, okay? That's not what I signed up for. He was like, I must have ate something bad. Something just wasn't agreeing with my stomach. And I was like, that's fine. I was over it, but I just did not want to see him anymore, okay? Costing me my job. You have been irritating me since the day I started working there. You call me Big Mama. Like, oh, I just hate this man. Then on top of that, he has a weird thing with black women, I believe, because he was like, I said this in the story time. I was like, he said, are you a Puerto Rican? You a Cuban? And I was like, no, I'm not. He said, okay, you the prettiest black woman I ever seen. And I said, just go on, drag your pee, all right? So my manager didn't really care. She don't really care about nobody, y'all. She asked me a little bit about what happened. She's not the type of person that's gonna do nothing about no type of issues. All she cares about is her money. Like, literally, that's how rich people are. And her next business venture, you know, she would work shifts, but she was just all about money. She was very, very cheap. Sometimes we would run out of shit and people would be like, why don't you have these? And I would be like, because she's cheap, okay? She's cheap like most rich people. That's how they stay rich. We would always run out of berries and like fruits and stuff, and literally the title of the frozen yogurt place had a berry in it. Not pink berry, but it had like it had a fruit in it or whatever, and a berry type of thing in it, and their title. And we were always out of berries. Like sometimes we would be out of, like the strawberries would have mold on them, and we would have to just throw them out because she would be buying like day old fruit, or the refrigerator just wasn't getting cool enough. I don't know, but there would be moldy ass fruit in there. I even took pictures because I was like, this is fucking nasty. And then everything was just like the hot chocolate would always have like water mixed into it, and it was like $2. Everything was super overpriced. Like, it was just not an establishment that I would be proud to say that I worked at, and I would not even be proud to say that I owned it. That's like I bet you if she had an apartment, she would be like a fucking slumlord. She was a nice lady and everything, but she just did not really like take pride in this business. But she would open up other restaurants, and like she would, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, that was basically the story of why I quit my low paying ass job. Because as if the low payingness wasn't enough, you would think that she would try to overcompensate with it being a decent business, or at least her business practices would be better, and it would make you want to actually do well at your job. She just doesn't care. I mean, I remember this one girl, like she's been working there for like 4 years, and she is only making like $11 an hour, but she started off at like $8.25. And I don't know how most businesses do, but like she should be making more than that because she does a lot. Like, she opens up the restaurant, and even the managers only make like $11.50 an hour, and she be wanting you to show up, work long hours, and then you gotta handle customer issues. I don't wanna have to do that shit for fucking $8.25 an hour. I don't wanna have to be a manager at my own job. If you want us to work alone, you need to pay us better, okay? Cheap. Anyway, y'all, that was my story time for the day. Don't forget to check out my vlogging channel. I will link it at the end of this video. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like if you like these type of videos, and let me know what you think. Bye.